Hey y'all, welcome back to my podcast, Awaken Empath, and today we will be talking about childhood trauma. We're going to get right into it. I've had a lot of childhood trauma, and I can resonate with a lot of these things. Seems like every category I fit into. So I'm a dial back on my personal stories tonight. But I will give you guys like a little bit of intel. These are things that I have prayed about. I've given them to God and healed from. Depending on the situation, I'm usually not triggered by it. But let's get right into it. So childhood trauma is when a child witnesses or experiences overwhelming negative events. In their childhood, obviously. It could be psychological, check, physical, check, and sexual abuse, check. Community or school violence, witnessing or experiencing domestic violence, physical or sexual assault, or neglect, check. Some facts about this subject are 1 in 7 children have experienced child abuse, which is pretty high in my opinion. In 2019, 1,840 children died due to abuse and neglect. The impact of being traumatized as a child can lead to learning problems, so they have lower grades, and you're just thinking your child's not putting in no work, but really they are traumatized. They need therapy, they need love, they need a hug. Increases health issues. I was just diagnosed with multiple sclerosis a couple years ago until I was like, no, I'm not. I do not have that. And like, I gave it to God, and like, I don't claim that, and I will not claim that on my name. It was literally just because of all the trauma that I encountered and all the things that I stuffed down. I would like refuse to talk about it. I like silence my voice because that's what I was taught to do, and I have come to the conclusion that suppressing things leads to your body attacking itself, because it's like, this is not us. Like, this is not who we are, and we don't even act like that. We don't even go here. Like, so. But that's a whole nother video. But I do believe that trauma can lead to your body attacking itself. I believe that it can lead to health issues that doctors cannot figure out why. It's because it's you. And your mind has so much power. So if you are constantly telling yourself something that's not true, or you are acting in a way that is not yourself, your body is going to respond to that. But like I said, that's another video. It can initiate strong feelings, strong emotions, and physical reactions that persist long after the event. I remember when I was a child, or not maybe a child, I believe I was like in high school, in the beginning of high school. And mind you, I didn't remember any of this stuff happening, but in high school I lived with my older sister, one of my older sisters, and she used to be like, you would wake up in a sweat, just like screaming and yelling because you'd be having nightmares. I don't remember having nightmares. I don't remember my dreams. I don't remember anything like that. But yeah, she used to always tell me like, yeah, girl, you be having real bad nightmares. And I don't know why I never asked about what or anything, because I didn't remember. I was like, I don't know what was going on. But it was probably something that happened in my childhood, because, well, in high school, I was in traumatizing situations. I watched my oldest son's father's brother die, both of them. One of them was talking to me, though, like, I can't breathe. It was really traumatizing. And that was like the first time I ever saw somebody die in real life. And that was like, he was like one of my faves. So it was a lot to handle. So besides that happening in my childhood, I'm pretty sure I've had plenty of nightmares. I just don't recall them. Children may feel terror, helplessness, fear, or psychological, or have psychological reactions. I'm sorry. Psychological reactions would be like maybe like flashbacks, or like they'll be triggered. Something will happen that remind them of something that happened to them, and then they be snapping out. Feeling of terror, that, yeah, I know that fear was a huge way to gain control over me as a child, so definitely be terrorized. Helplessness, because people don't believe you. People don't be believing you, even when you tell them straight off. Like, so like when my boys tell me something, I be believing everything. That my son told me that he could fly, I believe him. I know that sounds crazy, but no, I really believe him. Like, do you know how powerful we are? Do you know how, as a child, especially as a child, because we are so, children are so connected to God. I wanted to say to source, but whatever you call it, source. I call him God. They're so connected to God, and so I believe him. He could fly. But yeah, it's usually the adults and like society, school systems that tear children away from their true selves. And because I think that I'm a starseed, indigo child, crystal child, all of that good stuff. Okay. I believe that my children are also that way. And can tap into that power because they are children. But this childhood trauma can manifest in adults in several different ways. Number one on the list being mental health. Narcissism is a form of mental health disorder, along with bipolar disorder and a lot of other disorders. So, anxiety, depression, those are mental disorders as well. We have trouble in relationships. We always pick the wrong relationships. Like, we're so, like, I know that, especially my youngest son's father is a narcissist, and he was so comfortable to me due to the fact that my family was a bunch of narcissists. So it's like, I'm very much used to this chaos. I'm very much used to knowing how to survive in this environment. The gag is I don't want to do it no more. I don't want to live like that no more. It was literally stressing me out to the point where I was diagnosed with a chronic illness called multiple sclerosis. And it wasn't until I detached myself from him and start living for myself, detach myself from my family, I started feeling better. Like, they were injecting me for hours with an infusion, a Crevis. I was miserable. And when I first found out, I'm not going to hold you, I had to apologize to the doctors because I was like real snappy. I was upset because how dare I only be 28 years old with this disease? Well, how are y'all diagnosing me with this? I was just healthy. You know what I mean? Like, I was just perfectly fine. Now y'all telling me that I got some disease. And y'all can't tell me nothing about it? Nah, y'all making this up. You're making it up. But yeah, it was literally because I have been dealing with narcissism my entire life. And that really messes with you. And I've seen pictures of my brain, of my spinal cord deteriorating. Like, that stuff really has a huge impact on your body and your mind. And it's no joke. Honest to God, it's no joke. And it's just a sad thing that I wish happened less often. To like I honestly have like this, I want to save everybody that I can. Like, if I see something, I'm saying something. Don't do nothing. Don't rob no bank and then tell me that you robbed the bank. I'm telling on you. I'm telling everybody on you. I'm calling the police. Don't tell me that you did something that you wasn't supposed to do. Because why are you doing that? That's weird to me. Like, be real, be honest, and don't be doing people dirty, because that's weird to me. It should be weird to you too, but your conscience is gone. So, or you're easily influenced. You're weak. So you do what other people tell you to do. You're a flunky. You're a follower. I'm a leader. And I'm going to tell you straight off, I'm not that kind of girl. We usually form addictions. Let me tell you guys, it's not even funny. I mean, a little bit it is. But in high school, like in the beginning of high school, I found out later in life that I may have an addictive personality, because in high school, I used to take so much Tylenol. It's funny because it's just Tylenol, but I used to take so much Tylenol. Like, I would hit my toe off or something, and I'd be like, oh, I need 2 Tylenol. I don't want to feel this pain. Or I have a headache, and I'd be like, oh, I need 2 Tylenol. I, like, watch too much TV. Oh, I need some Tylenol. Like, it was sick, actually. It was sick. And then as I got older, it moved to weed, where, like, I was smoking a lot. And then my early 20s, it was alcohol. I drank a lot, like, blacked out. Wake up the next morning, drink again, go to work drunk, get my job done, come home, clean, cook. I'll do all of that stuff. Drink throughout the whole process. Blackout drunk, wake up the next morning, and was like, I was very much a functioning alcoholic at a very early age. My early 20s. So yeah, I try not to do stuff. I don't take medications. Like, if I get a headache, I'm drinking some water, I'm gonna thug it out. I will be crying, rocking back and forth in a corner before I take any medication, just because I know that I have that problem. Like, I have that addictive personality. I'm not even sure why or where it came from, but I won't even indulge in it. And I haven't smoked in some time now. I'm very proud of myself. So, kudos for me. We experience nightmares or flashbacks. Yes. Dissociative episodes occur with repressed trauma. So let me tell you, I'll be in a group of people. I remember this one time I was at a basketball game, and I was sitting next to this guy that I had a crush on real bad. And his son was, like, in the basketball game, like, killing shit. Like, ooh, 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 ooh. And I was so detached that, like, his son made a shot, and everybody was like, yeah. And he's, like, sitting next to me with his, Anyway, we're going to stick to the program. But everybody was, like, cheering, and I was so disassociated. It's not funny. I was so disassociated. It's like I saw him make the shot, but I didn't cheer. I just sat there. I was, like, zoned out. And then he, like, looked at me, and I was like, ooh, my bad. Accident. I was here. I'm here, but I'm not here. I'm, like, somewhere else right now. I'm so sorry about that. So yeah, it was kind of messed up, but whatever. Signs of unhealed trauma can show up as uncontrollable anger. Now, that's, like, something that I used to deal with, and I see a lot of people, grown people, adults, older than me, who have angry episodes where they just be snapping out, and they think that they gonna get something. Let me tell y'all. So my son was fighting with this other little boy, right? So I got called up to the school. The other little boy's mom was up at the school, and she, like, yelling and screaming, hollering, ramping and raving. And I'm like, girl, We're like, what are you trying to do? She's like, I'm mad, I'm angry, and I'm mad. And I'm like, girl, have you ever heard of emotional intelligence? Like, why are you acting like my children don't act like this when they are mad. I have a 5-year-old. He don't act like this when he's mad. He's gonna use his words, or he gonna be ignored until he comes over to use his words. Like, no, we're not going arguing back and forth. I'm not yelling with you. I'm younger than you, but I'm grown. Like, we're not. What are you talking about? But I see so many adults that don't know about emotional intelligence, don't know how to express themselves other than yelling, ranting, and raving, because they're so used to getting their way that way. And when I was younger, I used to be that way too. I used to be in high school like, what, bitch? I don't do that no more. Like, that's so 2008, bro. We have to educate ourselves. And I'm not going to judge you. Like, I wasn't judging her. I really wanted to give her a hug until she was like, what's up? And I was like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm no bitch patch, but I really want to give you a hug, because we need to really educate ourselves. It's a lack of education. So yeah, anxiety. I used to have a lot of anxiety. I was going to be in the back somewhere hiding out because I don't want people looking at me. I don't want people talking to me. I want to just be by myself. And I remember working at this job, and the guy was like, why don't you want to be in the front? And I was like, I could just be in the back and wash the dishes. You know, everybody else could be up in the front. And they're like, that's weird, because you're really pretty and you have a nice personality and all this stuff. And I was just like, yeah, but I'll be in the back. I got anxiety. I don't want nobody I don't want nobody triggering my anxiety or anything like that. Depression. It can show up as depression. And depression looks different on everyone. I know when I was depressed, nobody knew I was depressed, because I'm a good faker. I'd be faking real bad. I'd be like, yeah, y'all, and really deep down, I want to cry. You know, I'd be in the bathroom. I'd be like, I gotta go to the bathroom real quick, and be crying, and then come back like, yeah, y'all, what it is, what it do, what it is, what it do. Inability to express emotions. I've also dealt with this as well. I will, like I said, suppress how I feel about situations, just because I feel like I'm so like all the time. Like, even if I did come to you, it'd be like, even if I was trying to be nice, I always feel like it's still gonna come off as like not nice to you, because y'all don't know nothing. It's like, no. I don't know, I just feel like I have kind of like a bite. I have a lot of testosterone. My voice is too deep or something. I don't know. Withdrawal. So you're like I was saying before, just separating yourself. And I've always been taught, like, if there's a group of people standing there, you don't walk up on our group. You go sit, over on the other side. And that's how I always am. But it seems like now that I'm older, doing that, people be like, oh, she bougie, oh, she stuck up, like she thinks she better than us. And I'm just like, no, I just don't want to bother you guys. Like, I have social anxiety. I don't want to be like a burden. I don't want to like be weird and like try to come over and talk to you guys and like you don't know me. And then, because I actually did when I first moved over here, I really did try to be like, hey y'all, but everybody was looking at me like I had something on my face, and I was just like, okay. So then I stopped being my regular self, just because this small group of people made me feel less than and inadequate. So I stopped being myself, and I start withdrawing myself, and yeah. Some signs of emotional neglect are low self-esteem, which is what I've had for the majority of my life. I'm just now thinking I'm that girl. Difficulty regulating your emotions. Once again, I've had issues with that. I used to always, only emotion that I really knew was anger and sadness. Like, I would either be crying or I would either be angry. I've never really had any type of joy, any type of peace. none of the emotions that I feel now that I have connected with God and I have gained a relationship with Him, I've never felt those feelings. I never have. So shout out to God. He is that guy. Y'all, the next one is so real for me. It's not funny, but it's hilarious, okay? So it says, hard to accept affection or support. I don't know why. If you come over to me, if I could literally have one shoe on my foot. My pant leg is ripped off, one leg. I got half a shirt on, okay? And one half of my hair is singed, or all of my hair is singed off. And you come over and you try to help me, I'll be like, why are you trying to help me? Like, what are you doing? I really would be offended. And I think I said this before, on like one of the videos before I wanted to start a podcast, but like, I really would be offended. It was like instilled in me to be offended if people tried to help me. Like my mom, she used to be like, don't ask nobody for help too. Like, you couldn't even ask for help. So it's like, why would you come over here and try to help me? I could do it all by myself. I don't need you. Yeah, my pant leg is ripped off because I had to give it to somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, it just was the wrong response to people trying to extend themselves to me. But this is what learning does for you. It teaches you that to take accountability for your actions, because I remember that same lady who was snapping whenever her son and my son was arguing, she is the same woman who offered my younger son some snacks when I did not feed them before we left the house. Like, you see what I'm saying? So you just I gotta take accountability for that. Like, I was offended. I was like, why is she always trying to feed my son some food? Mind you, my son is hungry, you know? So I gotta take accountability. I gotta bite my tongue, and I gotta say thank you. So thank you, girl. A sensitivity to rejection. I never wanted to be rejected. I don't like being rejected still to this day, although I understand that being rejected is and can be a good thing, just to move you in the direction you were actually supposed to be in. When I first moved out here, I used to try to like befriend everybody and be like, hey, how are y'all? And I used to be like, And I really used to be like, why don't they like me? What did I do? I didn't even do anything. You know, but it was for a good cause, because the same people that were rejecting me, who were all up in cliques and everything like that, now they're falling apart. It's trembling. We are in the time of revelations, and all darkness is coming to light, and their darkness is coming to light. They don't even like each other. So it's like, God saved me from a bullet with that one. So, you know, you got to take the good with the bad, ugly with the sad. But I think I would accept rejection more now than I would before, but I wouldn't even ask before. Like, I'd be 2 seconds from death. I wouldn't even ask you for something to save me, because I would be afraid if you told me no, I would have a breakdown. I would have a meltdown or something. Developmental or cognitive delays, shame or guilt around emotions, and symptoms of conduct disorder. I don't know. Is that like always going to jail, always fighting? I don't know what that means, to be honest, which I probably should have looked that up before I put it in this video. But yeah, you don't know how to act. You don't know how to act because you are traumatized. So it's like, I don't know, you just, and I know some people like this who are just always in jail, always in fights, always starting conflict. And it's not necessarily that they are a bad person. It's just like they want some sort of attention. They want to be noticed. They want to be heard. They need to be loved. And y'all keep sending them to jail, but they really need to go to therapy. Get on my nerves. Sending these people to jail that really need help. In other countries, and I'm not entirely sure what countries, But in other countries, like when people act out in that way, they send them to therapy. Like they take care of their people. It's only here where we go straight to jail because they're greedy here and they want to make $1. I hate it. I hate that for us because why? But yeah, that is my little spiel for the night on childhood trauma. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to let y'all know narcissists have childhood trauma that is unresolved and unhealed, and that is why they continue that trauma down the bloodline because they have not healed. I am a strong believer that my mother is unhealed and has a hard time loving herself. So that is why she passes down that trauma, or she did pass down that trauma to the rest of us. And I'm not saying that I'm the only victim. I'm just saying that I feel like I got it the worst because everybody was in on it. The whole rest of the family was in on it with me. They might not have been that way with each other, but they were definitely like that with me. So, and she may have done terrible things to them, but they were all doing terrible things to me. So, it is what it is. Thank God for bringing me up and out and allowing me to be confident enough and bold enough to get my voice back, work to get my voice back, and share this with people who need to hear it and are in this state or dealing with things like this and they don't know what to do or how to feel, or go inward, love yourself. What's that song? But I made my own words up to it. It's I came back to let you know you gotta love yourself or you'll never grow. Now those are not the words, but those are the words that I made up. Okay, because we really need to start loving ourselves. Had my mother loved herself, I understand she had been through some traumatic things in her life. We all have. But had she sat down and did the shadow work and meditated and drew closer to God, drew closer to herself, learned herself, that trauma would have never been passed down because she would have loved herself. And loving yourself, you don't make bad decisions that you used to make, and you don't tolerate bullcrap that you used to tolerate. You set boundaries and you move accordingly. But when you don't heal from the trauma, the past trauma, you just keep packing on trauma, packing it on. And then eventually you start dealing it out, whether it be intentional or unintentional. And I am a firm believer that it's intentional if you don't try to get that help for yourself. Like, you could have found a way to get that help for yourself. I honestly had narcissistic tendencies myself. And even with my older son, I'm pretty sure he's felt at some point that I did not love him. Well, I didn't love myself. And I know my older sister used to always say, when she finds out how to love herself, then you'll feel loved. And I never used to know what she was talking about because I'm like, I love myself. I don't care. I don't love. And there are resources out there to help you. So there's no excuse. And if I could do it, anybody could do it. Honest to God. So, yeah. But that's it. I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna go work out with my children, and then shower and get in the bed. But I hope you guys have a great night. I love you. Make sure you love yourself. Mwah.